very important. Where am I? You know, where, you know, you have to really take notes of it. Because I think if you don't take full assessment of that now, you have to take note of what have I got within me. You have to search within yourself to see what you've actually got. And your destination is actually your purpose. Why am I here? Why have I turned up on this earth? Why do I live in YOLA? Why do I live in this certain place? And these are the kind of things you have to bear in mind, you see. Because sometimes if you don't look around the environment, you're looking at ourselves, we tend not to find the questions. Because we might be looking for, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. But we're not realizing that, no. Everything starts from somewhere. And you always have to ask yourself the question, why am I here to? In that way, you begin to build your purpose, and then now you begin to work on your location, where you're actually trying to drive yourself and trying to go to in life.
A lot of people will say, I'm here accidentally. I actually don't. I never chose to be here.
Nah.
I just found myself here.
Exactly.
Like accidental.
I'll give you an example now. There's absolutely nothing like an accident location. You see, one of the biggest things I think we face with the young people is we don't ask questions. You see, I think if we ask a lot of questions as young people, even like Nigerians, when it comes to politics, when it comes to economy, when it comes to everything else, if we begin to ask questions, our lives will change. And the questions will start with us. I can give you a good example quickly, because I went to Lagos once. I was in Abuja, then I decided to fly to Lagos before flying out. And I don't know why I decided to go to Lagos. And so when I got to Lagos, I kept on asking myself the question, why am I here? Why am I here? Then I decided to attend this program which had to do with tourism. And what happened was I flew in the morning in Lagos, so I was very tired. So I went to have a nap. And my alarm went off because I was so tired, I didn't hear the alarm go off. So the program was 2 o'clock, so I didn't wake up till 4 o'clock. That's how tired I was. And when I jumped up, I was so angry. I can't believe this. I've missed this thing halfway through, and you know, things like that. So I quickly dressed up and called an Uber taxi. When the guy turned up, I got in the cab and I sat down beside going, and he looked at me and said to me, you know what? I've never met you before, but I think you're somebody I can feel the presence that you come into the taxi now. That's somebody I feel I can talk to. So he started telling me about what he went through, which had to do with drugs, and then he had to use, which he used to work with before and everything else. But now he's cleaned his life up and decided to move on. Then all of a sudden, out of the blues that day, somebody he knew before just contacted him. Didn't know where he got his number from, and then the person was trying to get him back into all the things he left behind. And he was sitting down in his Uber taxi at that particular time, thinking, you know, now he's getting tempted to actually go back, and he was worried, if I go back, you know, I had tough times there, if I had nearly died when I was doing it, or do I go forward? And when I started talking to him for like a 10-15 minute journey, I sort of encouraged him and advised him with stuff to do and things like that. And when I got out of taxi, he thanked me so much. And I thought, that is why I was in Lagos. Because that young man has just been, more or less, because he got a chance to talk to somebody, and I gave him an opportunity not to go back to what he was trying to do before. So I felt I was wasting my time there, as far as I felt. But I believe that because I asked the questions continuously, what am I doing here? I was at a particular place, at a particular time, and the reason why I even overslept that day, which is very, very unusual of me, not even hear an alarm, was I believe it was arranged specially that I was going to meet that guy that day, and we're going to have that conversation because he needed to speak to somebody at that particular time.
Somebody may say, Victor Tarfa had all the wherewithal to move around and talk to people, to motivate people.
Yeah.
But what about that person who has not got the wherewithal?
Who was not, sorry, the question again.
Yeah, somebody may say, Mr. Victor Tarfa,
Yeah.
got all the resources
Yes.
to move around the world, to
Yes.
motivate and activate, you know, the talent in you. So
Yes.
what about me? I have got no resources.
You see, the most important thing is, as Les Brown says, you have to start what you have, where you are. And people don't realize that. No matter how tiny the stuff you have, you can always do stuff with it. There's nothing like I don't have anything. I saw the story of a guy who in, I think one of the African countries, I can't remember which one it was, and it was a very powerful moving video. This guy had absolutely nothing. You know, he had absolutely nothing. And then he realized that, I think he just went to the library and found that he could actually pump water using a wind vane. And he went and actually created one. He went to the library, he read the books, he did everything, and at the end of the day, he was actually delivering a TED talk. And this is a guy who was saying that he'd never been on a plane before, he never knew anything. If you talk about the brothers who built the aeroplane, you know, they all started small. You know, they're bicycle makers. And now they created a whole big aeroplane, you understand, which we all fly on every single day. So I think you saying that, oh, I haven't got anything, you're just making an excuse. Because I could have said the same thing too. Because it's not pennies to fly from the UK to Nigeria all the time, or come to YOLA, go to all these places. You understand? Even some are sponsored, some are not, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you got to realize that if you, as far as I'm concerned, that is just an excuse. You can always do something, with no matter how little you have. All you need is just that will to do it. Look, find what you need to do. No matter how tiny it is, you can do it.
I just learned of someone who used to be a shoe shiner.
Yeah.
He dumped the shoe shining job
Yeah.
to go and become a baker. So
Wow.
Yeah, he actually means more money. Okay, less stress.
Yeah.
And for me to be shining people's shoe and be
Yeah.
getting that 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, 50 naira.
Yeah.
What do you think makes people, or make people have that conscience not to try, not to strive to get things of this life, to make their life better in their community and do close to them?
Yeah, it's amazing because it's, well, first thing is that people don't cherish small beginnings. I think that's actually my post on Facebook today. You know, that's you got to cherish small beginnings, and people don't understand that you got to start with little from somewhere. You might be getting 5 naira today, 5 naira tomorrow, 5 naira next tomorrow. But at the end of the day, you have to keep putting that away, and before you realize, it grows. There are people who are shoe shiners who end up becoming multimillionaires one day. I'm sure if you run through Nigeria, there are quite a lot of businessmen, especially in northern Nigeria, who started as worse than shoe shiners, in fact. And I can't understand why anyone would decide to go back into begging, because you just said the word, it's easier. Now, when I was speaking yesterday, I spoke about a mountain. No matter what you do, you're going to hit a mountain. You know, we all hit mountains every day. And if you really want to achieve stuff, I'm not talking about bumps on the road of life. No, I'm talking about mountains. You know, because bumps are just because you slow down, you go over them gently, and that's it. Mountain, you have to sort of dress yourself up and you got to climb it properly. So he's avoiding the troubles of life. Nothing comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. When you see someone who's successful, most people just look at what he has actually achieved as success, but they never look at the work that actually went into in the background, the pain, the traveling away, the everything. I'm here now, my family's in the UK. I miss them all the time. Sometimes I'm away for 2 weeks, sometimes I'm away for a week, whatever it is, you see. So even that, you know, is a sacrifice for me. You know, I've traveled before. When I came back, my son sent me a video. Daddy, next time you travel, make sure it's more than 5 days. You know, and I actually kept that video and I watched it all the time. I actually laughed. You know, I even show people the video sometimes. I said, look, this is a sacrifice I have to make for what things I need to do. Because especially if you say, look, because I traveled for 2 weeks then. And when he gave me the video, I could just really touch it and really moving. I'm like, wow. So this is a sacrifice I have to make. You know, being away from family, you know, the tiredness. I've been in YOLA since yesterday. This thing, I've hardly actually slept because it's been one meeting after another, it's one thing after another continuously. And I'm back in Abuja again, it's more or less continuous too. He said, but it's all because of the passion, everything I'm driving. Because if anyone says it's easy, then they're lying to you.
Okay, now how can we less encourage these beggars who seems to be healthy?
Yeah.
Now, whenever you're at the traffic, you see them come around, they look so very healthy, but they're begging for alms.
Yes.
Now, ordinarily, somebody will say, okay, I've got enough. Why would I help these people?
Yeah.
I would really helping them, or I would making them to remain in this position, that same position, for over a long time. And that dilemma, how will you address it?
I think the biggest problem we face as a nation is, even as all of us, is the key thing is we never ever focus on creating community wealth. You know, which is I think is key. I'm going to say it again now. It's creating community wealth. If you're going to touch the life, is we focus on creating personal community and personal wealth. You see, so even when you run a business, your thoughts should be coming straight away as in, how can I help more people create wealth, not just myself? Because at the end of the day, if everybody else around me gets rich, or gets wealthy, or gets comfortable, then they won't come begging with me. So when I look at someone who is begging, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I don't judge people based on the fact that they've got 2 hands, 2 legs, whatever it is now. My question always becomes, what is making him do this? You see, you might not have time at the traffic light to stop and ask the questions. You might not have time at the traffic light to ask him all the kind of questions. But personally, I want to focus on, if I'm going to help somebody, I want long term. I don't want to give you 10p today or 10 naira today and then you're back again tomorrow. I'm thinking, how can I help this guy so that he can do something with his life and then he doesn't have to come back here again? But you see, but the problem is, even with the beggars, is some of them, because of the comfort it brings to them, they choose to do it. So if I see somebody who's not willing to change his life, who chooses, okay, you know what, this is the easy way, I might as well carry on doing things the easy way, then sometimes at the end of the day, you can't really help much. But you can always encourage them as much as you can. Maybe one day, you get activated in their minds and they'll decide, you know what, I shouldn't really be on the streets begging anymore now. I have a better life and I will change.
Better, have a better life, and I will change. Now, change is a very broad subject.
It is.
And a lot of people say, I want to change, I want to change. You know, every year we come up with resolutions. We say, okay, I want to change, I want to meet up this.
Yeah.
Now, we're in November,
Yeah.
a few days. November will be off.
Yeah.
We're in December. And yet, all the goals, all the resolutions we have set, 1st January, that we're going to achieve,
Yeah.
some of us have not achieved even one.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's always like that? What is it that we're missing that we're not putting together to achieve all these goals and resolutions?
Well, to start with, I think people tend to, personally, I don't make new resolutions because a lot of people make new resolutions because it's New Year. Not because they really want to do anything new. They just do, well, everybody else is making resolutions, so I'll just do it. You know, I think personally, every single day is a new year. So you can wake up today, like after yesterday now, when the young guys left the room, they can decide, okay, fine, this is my new year. Because at the end of the day, everything in life, I believe, is you create what you see. Somebody created a calendar and said, okay, fine, from this day we'll call it 1st of January. And then obviously we all follow it now, because if we don't, there will not be order in the world. So at least to create order in the world, that's why we have a calendar, that's why we have a clock that we follow. But personally, I believe that calendar, you can create your own calendar. And you can decide that today is the 1st of January. So in as much as you're thinking, okay, I made resolutions for 2017, and 2017 is nearly finished, and we're heading towards 18, and I haven't achieved it, still you've got to bear in mind the fact that, okay, fine, I just think I'm not happy about where I am now. So I'm going to turn today to my 1st of January, and I'm going to start again. So in that way, you can realize that you don't have to feel depressed about it now. Because most of the time, people just don't have that will to change. I've seen so many people talk about change, and I look at them and think, you know what, you're not willing. Because if you're really willing to change, you will. But the bottom line is, nobody wants to put in the work to do it, because it takes sacrifice. Something has to give. If I say I want to lose weight, now change. I've got to wake up very early in the morning, I've got to go running, I've got to exercise, I've got to stop eating the food I like eating, nice chocolates, or whatever it is now, you won't have to do that. That's a sacrifice. But if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, that change will never come. So the first question you have to ask yourself when you decide, I want to change, is, what am I willing to give up? And that's the first question. If you're not willing to give up stuff, then you're never ever going to change. Because something has to give.
Because same routine will keep giving same result.
Thank you very much.
To have a different result when you're doing the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's look at the power of negative talks. Now instead of giving more energy to positive things, being optimistic, we tend to have that pessimistic view. You know, I can be better than my father. I can be better than my brother. I cannot be better than my friend. You know, I'm less educated. I cannot become like Dangote. I cannot become like Tidala. Tell us the consequences of negative thoughts and talks.
You see, one thing people don't realize is there's so much power in the tongue. You know, as it is amazing what you say. And I always tell people, I said, you know, there's some things I wouldn't even ever say myself. You know, if you ask someone how you doing, they say you're not bad. How can you say not bad? That's a negative, not bad. You know, and when you ask people, you know, so when you look at stuff like that, you think, even just by saying great, it makes you feel great. And so we have to begin, the first key is that we have to watch our tongue as the number one thing. You know, just whatever word that comes out of your mouth, just make sure that it is positive. You know, I know it's not easy, especially when you're used to it, but you have to build yourself in that kind of way. Because if positive words come out of your mouth all the time, you realize that your brain begins to work in that kind of way too. And gradually you realize that you don't even, negative thoughts really work in your way. And you have to avoid negative people, because some people who are just naturally negative, you know, and most of the time we know them, but we still go and hang around them. And you wonder, well, if you're going to take yourself to a place where there's negativity, what do you expect? That's where you're going to get there, isn't it? So why don't you just stay away? You know, sometimes even our friends, the relationships that we have, because if you're willing to change, obviously your friends too will have to change. And if they're being negative, then just stay away from them. Because you have to literally block yourself out from anything that you know, that is actually negative. Once in a while, you're going to come across it, but I see if you do, because obviously you built yourself up so much, even when it hits you sometimes, it wouldn't last long. You sort of think for a while, okay, yeah, no problem at all. Then you get through it. And because we confess with our mouths, oh, I can never be like Dangote, or I can never be like that. Why would you ever be? You know, why would you ever be? You know, it was surprising yesterday because someone was talking about selling some tickets, and the person said, and he did a kind of funny thing. The person was like, well, you know what selling tickets are like, you know, because you know what the town is like, because nobody will really want to buy them. Now you're trying to sell something to me, and you've just told everybody here that nobody buys tickets. So how are you ever going to sell the tickets? You've actually believed already, and you expect that nobody's going to buy it. So no one's going to buy it. And I'll just tell you, the funniest one I've heard was a guy who works at a bank, who goes marketing. So he goes into the market to go and market to market traders to open accounts with them. So when the guy in the shop says to him, Tom, I can't send you back with you. Like, well, I guess get you back with you. That's in house, you know? And I'm thinking, you've gone to this guy so he can deposit money in your bank. Even before you got to him, he said to you, there's no money in the system. And you confirm that with your own mouth that there's no money in the system. And you expect him to give you money. You should be saying to him, no, really, actually, there is a lot of money around, you know? So you're changing his own perspective to it, his own mindset. So he might begin to think, yeah, it's true, you know, yeah, there's many points to spend your money because there's, yeah, I've got some money here, you know, maybe I should go and put it in your bank. You just confirmed you agreed with it. So he's all negative now, so you're never going to get what you want.
So talking with Mr. Victor, DAUDA TARFA, a transformational speaker, you know, we're talking on the need to activate ourselves to achieve greater, you know, heights, to achieve greater things, at the final stage now.
Yeah.
Because now the State Houses of Assembly are actually working on it, and later they will send it back to the National Assembly before they will pass amend the Constitution for young youth to actually run elective offices. What message will it have for youths? And of course, knowing fully well that the youth tend to give more premium to what will come into their pocket and what will go into their head. And they tend to give more thought to what I can spend, I can buy today and tomorrow. Looking at the future, what they can buy in the future. How can you talk to them in that regard?
I think the first thing we're going to say to young people is you got to be willing to that change we're talking about now. You see, because when you look at politics, it has been more or less the same since I was born. Not that long ago, but in the 40 years I've been in this world, I've looked at England, stayed in Nigeria, it's been the same thing. So we've done the same thing over and over again. The same thing, a guy comes around with a big bag of money, he shares to you, you vote for him, he goes away, whether he performs or not is a whole different ball game. But that's one thing we need to realize is we now have to begin to think. You get the same people who've come around who've not delivered on their promises, and they come back again and you vote for them again. And that's the part you have. And then the same people who were not voting for them will now complain again, you see. And I think is a point where I spoke about asking questions. We have to start asking people the questions. Okay, fine. What are you going to do for us long term? And secondly, the youth have to stand up and say, you know what, they need to have very, very strong values. I spoke about values yesterday. You know, when you have personal values, what you stand for, you know, you stand for integrity, if you stand for being responsible for your actions, if you stand for, you know, look, we've been through this so long. So now we're going to stand on our values and make sure that this doesn't happen to us again. You know, in my own personal opinion, looking at Nigeria, I believe and I think I'm so confident. I keep saying to people, I said, 2019 is going to be plenty of surprises. Because I think we should be realizing at this stage that, you know what, we've got, there's a stage we are now that it's been going on for so long. So I think it's time for us to start saying, okay, fine, it's time to rebuild our nation. It's time to do things differently now. So anyone that comes in with the same kind of style of politics of before, then obviously we know that we're going to get the same results from before. So it's clear. There's no argument about that one. So every young person, what I was saying to you today is, anyone that approaches you when it comes to politics or whatever it is now, all your question you have to look is it the same thing he's doing from the last time? Yes, it is. Then we're expecting the same result. The responsibility is 100% in our hands. You have to bear it in mind. It's absolutely nobody's fault. Don't start blaming the electoral system, don't start blaming the government, don't start blaming anything. It's 100% responsibility in our hands. We're holding in our hands now, and we are the ones that can decide which way we're going to swing the country. If we're going to move it forward and change the ways we're doing things, great. If you want to follow the same things we've done before since 19, whatever it is, you're going to end up with the same results. Just remember that. Don't expect a different result from the same thing. So if the politics looks the same, say to yourself now, it's the same politics, it's going to be the same result. That's a simple way of working it out.
Mr. Victor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a great moment talking with you. Of course, I'm sure a lot of minds have been activated because mine is activated. You know, whenever I interact with you, there's something new that I always get. And thank you very much for making the sacrifice all the way, of course. And now this afternoon you'll be leaving to Abuja, from Abuja back to the United Kingdom, of course. Wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to talking with you more. I don't know when next you'll be coming to
I'll make an effort, don't worry, and I think maybe we could do something online, or I'm sure we could work something out in which we can. It's always a pleasure to be here, Peter, and I really appreciate all the support and everything you've done so far. Thank you.
For indulgence, at least to open the line for a moment.
Oh, that's all right.
So that people can probably ask questions.
That'd be great.
Place that they may want you to talk about.
Yeah.
Alright, so you can call us on 08024696562, okay? Alright, this is just a moment that you can call in to participate. You can ask Mr. Victor a question on this. Please make it very short, and he will respond to them. 08024696562. Perhaps there's anything or anywhere in the process of life that you're facing some challenges and that you may want him to talk to you about. Okay, that's right.
welcome.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Callers, is your 24696562. All right. She said thank you.
Thank you very much, dude.
Is your 24696562. Okay, callers, to be part of the discussion. If you've got any question, okay, you can call me and just ask. We have another call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. 08024696562. Callers to be part of the show. I will take just a couple of calls, then wrap it up. 08024696562. Now, Mr. Victor DAUDA TARFA is a transformational speaker, and he has been talking to youths, across the globe on how to activate, of course, believe in yourself. And let's meet up with this caller. Hello, good morning. Yeah, hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Beth, and I'm calling from Nigeria.
Let's see, the radio is loud. Turn down the volume of your radio set and go ahead. What do you want to share with us? Hello? I know she's off. We have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's your name and where are you calling us from, please?
I'm Ajay. I'm from YOLA.
All right, Ajay, you go ahead. What do you have for us?
I really want to appreciate the life of the Victor TARFA. I listen to the program since I'm sincerely encouraged. So I want to wish him a very safe trip back to UK.
Thank you very much.
Very much, Mr.
And I just sent him a friend request on Facebook. Please, if you accept my request so that I'll be sure him on it.
It's okay. I know he's going to do that. We have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. This is the Elton calling you from one city.
Go ahead, Mr. Eugene.
Actually, I would like to talk about our youth. First of all, I think it's not of the
No, listen, but basically asking if you've got any question for him to talk about, not to add to what he has said already, okay? We just want to make it snappy. Have you got any
that's
questions?
really appreciate on one thing you are talking.
Okay.
Yeah, we really appreciate.
All right, thank you very much, Usman. We appreciate 08024696562. Okay, we just want some quick questions. We don't want to take more time in adding to what he has already said. Okay, we hope you understand that. 08024696562. We take the last call now, and we have this discussion now. Okay, 08024696562. Okay, and we've got our last caller right here. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
This is Robin Southern calling from Nigeria.
Okay, we're in Nigeria. All right, go ahead.
Please, I want to comment about I was still lively what but I think you have to watch about so we all just give it all. We wish it to know and it's better to the most.
All right, thank you very much. We quite appreciate it. Okay, all right, now we will take one more call. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning. Thanks for telling us. What's the name and where you're coming from?
Yeah, my name is River. I'm calling from the number.
All right, it's good to have you. Go ahead. What do you want to ask?
Yeah, I want to really ask my brother there, my brother, that what are we the youth of Nigeria going to do in order to make Nigeria great?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for calling. Now, that will be the last thing you will talk about. Then we'll wrap it up. And we'll have it.
Well, that's a great question. What do we need to do to make Nigeria great? I think the most important thing we need to do to make Nigeria great is to fall in love with Nigeria again. It's as simple as that. If we fall in love with Nigeria, deep down from our hearts, and love it like our nation, we will do everything to protect it. Like a man and his husband, a man and his wife, who loved his wife so much, he'll do anything for her to make sure that she's happy all the time. And he'll make sure they build their life together. So the key thing I always say to people is, if you fall in love with Nigeria again, it would be amazing. I'll give you a good example of one thing that really inspired me when I went to Albania. You know, I went out there to do an MC a women's program. When I was coming back, I bought a cap, an Albanian cap. And when I got back to the airport, I got on the train and I was going home. And because I was wearing this Albanian cap, this Albanian saw me in London. And you know, when I saw the excitement on his face, because the cap had like a flag on it, the excitement on his face was mind-blowing. He couldn't help it. From right across the carriage of the train, he ran down to me, wow, where did you get that cap from? I said, oh, I've just flown in from Albania now. He's like, why are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm just coming from Tirana. You know, the excitement on his face was mind-blowing. I walk around London all the time because everywhere I go to, I have a Nigerian flag on my jacket. And not a single Nigerian has ever said to me, oh, you're Nigerian. In fact, I've given someone a Nigerian flag before to wear on his jacket in London, and he wore it the day I gave it to him. Since that day, he never wore it again. Every time I meet him, he's not wearing it, and that shows you that we just are not even comfortable to even tell the world. You understand that we are Nigerians. So that shows that, because if you love someone very much, like a man that loves his wife, when he goes anywhere, he's holding her hands, he's walking around, he's telling the whole world, yeah, it's me, you know, that's my wife. And just, you know, all I'm just saying is just fall in love with the nation again. Let's fall in love with Nigeria. Let's have hope for that future that is there for us.
All right, Mr. Victor, thank you very much. And of course, wish you the very best in your endeavor. And thank you for always talking to the youths. We urge you to keep on talking to us, because the more you talk, the more you motivate us, the more you activate all that. Of course, the more we continue to have a more vibrant and productive youth.
Yeah, it's
Appreciate your time.
always a pleasure to see you, Peter, and talk with you. Thank you.
The pleasure, of course, is
And
ours.
I don't want to go without saying happy birthday to you again. You're a superman. I believe you deserve it. So happy birthday to you.
I quite appreciate that. Okay, that's much we've got with Mr. Victor, DAUDA TARFA, transformational speaker. Hope you've been motivated this morning. We'll take a very short break. We'll be right back with the news review.